All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are back with some more Darrell Brooks. So grab your beverages, grab your vices, whatever you need. I got my cranberry juice right here with a sprinkle of tahini. Try that shit; it's amazing. So anyway, we're getting into this Darrell Brooks case. This is him in court representing himself and cross-examining his ex-girlfriend. And I mean, you can't make this up. Let's get straight into it.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to make sure I got the paperwork since I'm being rushed to judgment.
Nobody's rushing you, bro. You're just not a lawyer. That's your problem. You know, I just realized the way his hair is balding, it's almost like he has devil horns etched into his head. It's like he's the real villain of this story from start to finish. Look at his pretentious little. Do you see his two pinkies in the corner with that long feminine female with that feminine fingernail he's got going on there? Look at that. Now that officer in the back, he'll be a recurring theme, and boy, does he have a front row seat to some craziness.
The testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. Thank you. Please be seated.
All right.
First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record.
Erica Patterson.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Miss Erica Patterson. Now, I think this is the girl that was underage when he first started seeing her. A disgusting man. Let's go. Let's see what he's got for her.
I wasn't spelling the name.
I believe it's on the record from previously, but go ahead. You can spell your first and last names, please.
He wants her. He wants her to spell her name.
Patterson.
I'm not seeming to find paperwork that I just had on the table. For some reason, odd reason.
I don't even think he found that paperwork, to be honest. And he was like, I can't find the paperwork that was on my table for some odd reason. Like, anybody's trying to steal your paperwork, bro. You're a fish out of water right now. You don't know what you're doing.
Good morning, Miss Patterson.
Good morning.
So, what do you do for a living?
I have my CNA certificate.
I'm going to direct your attention to the evening of November 21st, 2021. Do you recall what you were doing that evening?
I was hanging out with my friend Corey at Frame Park. I had spoken to you, Mr. Darrell Brooks. You came out there at Frame Park and met me after Miss Corey separated from me with her friend.
First of all, the first mistake he made is he let her just go off on a tangent. He could have asked her. He could have asked her a specific question to lead into a narrative that he wants, right? But he's so confused and bamboozled right now. He's just like, so what did you do on December 2nd that day? So what's she going to say? All the bad things about you. She doesn't fuck with you, homie. So why would you give her an open-ended question? I mean, come on.
Me and you got into an argument.
Whoa. Pursuant to the question?
I am answering your question.
I was referring to the judge.
I was hanging out
I
with
think
Miss
that kind of
Corey.
got a little ahead of.
Oh, Mr. Brooks, just I'll let you interrupt the answer, and you can ask a follow-up. I apologize. I was instructing the clerk to turn up the volume. So go ahead, ask your question.
Same question?
Sure.
What were you doing the evening of November 21st, 2021, before linking up with the alleged defendant?
See, now he's trying to fix up his approach. Now that she started making him look bad, I met you, Darrell Brooks. You beat the shit out of me. You left all pissed off.
Hanging with my roommate at the time at Frame Park.
And what were you and your roommate doing?
I'll object. We covered this ground during her testimony previously.
Objection and grounds for, I object to that and grounds for the objection on behalf of the state.
Mr. Brooks, we did cover many of these topics previously, so if there's new topics, please go to those. I'll give you a little bit of leeway to lay some foundation, but go ahead, ask your question.
That's
The
with the-
objection is, from the state, is overruled. Do you remember the question?
So you can ask.
You asked me what was I doing at the park with Corey? Is that your question?
Yes.
We were drinking. I was drinking Mike's Hard beverage.
Do you
They were drinking a Mike's Hard beverage, the weakest of all beverages. So if you're trying to make her look bad or intoxicated, she would have had to have about 2 whole cases of Mike's Hard. I don't care what size you are. That shit is weak.
recall around what time of the evening it was when you and your roommate arrived at the park?
I do not remember. We left where we were staying a little around afternoon. A little bit around afternoon.
Do you recall having any phone interactions during that time when you and your roommate were at the park?
Phone interactions, yes.
Do you recall who they were with?
You.
What do you mean by you?
Darrell Brooks.
But remember, he's not Darrell Brooks. He's a sovereign citizen, and he does not want to be referred to as Darrell Brooks. So who are you talking about? Darrell Brooks? I don't know a Darrell Brooks. Like, if this worked and he actually, like, this was actually a loophole in the law system, I would have garnered him a genius. But he's not. He's a fucking idiot.
Is that usually the name you refer to the alleged defendant by?
Nope.
What is he going to? Where is he going with this? He's so lost right now.
Would it be fair to say that during those phone interactions, there was a talk of you guys meeting up? Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you recall, to the best of your recollection, what time that would have been at?
No. I
She
don't
just
remember.
said she doesn't remember
It was
when they
throughout
got
the
to the
day.
park.
I'm sorry, are you making references to the phone conversations being throughout the day?
Yes.
And so at some point, would it be fair to say that you did meet up with the alleged defendant?
Yes.
Do you recall what time that was?
No.
I just told you no.
Did you at any time, sorry, did you at any time during your travels back to Frame Park, did you at any time notice that there was something going on in the area?
No. When I got to Frame, I was too worried about walking back to Frame Park. When I got to Frame Park after I left it, that's when I realized there was something going on. Where I was staying at the shelter at first, I was arguing still with Mr. Brooks all throughout the day. Me and Corey had left, and Corey and I stepped away, and I went back to Frame Park. I went to Frame Park, that's where I met you at. Me and you also got into argument that day, but we didn't drive around. We're at the Frame Park.
We're together the day of November 20th, 2021.
Yes.
Do you recall around what time that was?
I do not remember.
And you stated you were briefly with your friend Corey that day?
Yeah, but she went a whole different direction. She didn't come to Frame Park with me. She turned on a whole different street right before Frame Park.
I really don't see where he's going with this. He's just going in circles.
And what were you doing prior to the alleged meeting up with the alleged defendant?
Objection.
Grounds.
Asked and answered.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain.
Asked and answered.
When?
Next question, please.
When was it answered?
Disrespectful. This is his problem. He wants everybody to be in this world with him, that he's not insane. The sovereign citizen, him asking her if he was drinking like 10 different times. All he's really doing is stalling for time. I think at the end of the day, he knows he's going to jail, and he's just going to kick and scream all the way to jail. I think that's really what he's doing. Or maybe he's hoping for a mistrial, something like that. But this judge is ensuring that that does not happen.
So to the best of your recollection, you can't recall why an alleged incident on November 20th of 2021 was reported to never happen.
Objection.
Grounds.
Same reasons as the previous objections.
Assumes facts not in evidence. Mischaracterizes her prior testimony and irrelevant.
I object to that respectfully and
Next
ask for a
question.
legal finding of fact and a legal reconsideration of that ruling, Your Honor.
Denied. Noted for the record. Next question, please.
I'm trying to figure out how something got pulled out of thin air.
See, he just explained what the problem is. He's trying to figure out what to do. He doesn't know what to do. He's just looking through pieces of paper until he finds something interesting. I don't know if you guys ever, when you go to school and you take this exam and you know you're going to fail this exam, but you still, go through the papers, write down answers, and go through the motion, even though you're failing for sure. That's what he's doing. Interesting. He keeps saying interesting, like someone took his papers. Nobody took your paper. Nobody thinks you're competent enough to come out of this successfully. Anyone who stole your papers would be an idiot themselves, because you're not going anywhere, bro. He's begging for a mistrial.
So it would be fair to say that you have a child in common with the alleged defendant. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah, is that the only child in common?
Yes.
You have any other children?
Objection.
Grounds.
Has nothing to do with the case. Sorry.
Hold
Mr.
on,
Your
there's
Honor.
been an objection. Not relevant. Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain?
The record speaks for itself. Next question.
What was the record speaking for itself? I didn't hear it.
Not relevant.
How is it not relevant?
Look at his face. Look at that face. He's disgusting. You want to break his jaw. You really he's pushing it out there for you to break it for him. Real quick, let me show you how this guy acts when he doesn't get his way.
Stream is on.
I don't care about no live stream. Just like y'all don't care. Sit up here, act like you know me. People like you don't know nothing about where I come from.
You don't know me? You don't know. He's like a TV show, I swear.
Mr. Brooks,
Put your hand on me, dude.
nobody put their hands on you.
They better not put
Yeah,
their
they-
hand on me.
Okay, Mr. Brooks, you need to look at me for a minute, okay?
Why? To listen to all this political stuff y'all got going on?
Mr. Brooks, I'm more concerned
Don't
about...
touch me, dog. They see this.
He has the mind of a high school student who's raging out and not getting his way. He doesn't get the way he wants. He starts playing the "but what do you mean" card. And then when that doesn't work and they lay it down on you like that's what I mean, then he becomes belligerent and starts running people over with cars like a fucking psychopath.
Now, he needs to be here. He's not cooperating. I'm going to give you the warning,
Nobody care
Mr.
about nothing else.
I will give you
Nobody.
I will give you the warning.
So yeah, as you can see, a complete asshole. But let's continue with this proceeding, because it's a train wreck from start to finish. I'll promise you that much.
Next question, please.
How is it not relevant? How old is that child?
15.
Do you keep
Imagine growing up with a father like Darrell Brooks. Imagine going to school as a 15-year-old and everybody has their regular dad who does this and who does that. Maybe he's a YouTuber like me, maybe he goes to work and he's a dentist. And then your dad is Darrell Brooks, who runs people over when he's pissed off and beats your mom up. That's a wild upcoming. It's like the upbringing of a supervillain, I swear. Shout out to that kid, man. I hope he's good.
Regular contact with that child?
Off and on.
Oh, so he doesn't even have contact with his mother. There's another layer of horrible for the child. See, and this is why in society you have terrible people who do well, not terrible people. You have people who do terrible things, and you're like, why they do that? It's childhoods like this that create the most chaotic human beings. And that's the problem. It starts with stuff like this. You have a 15-year-old son with this woman who never sees her kid, off and on, whatever. She seems defensive about that too, with a psychopathic, narcissistic dad. It's a wild combination.
Describe what you mean by off and on.
I'll object.
Grounds.
This is not relevant.
Not relevant. Sustained.
Grounds.
It's not relevant, sir.
And so what? She's a terrible mom. Now what? She's a shit mom. Now what? Does that keep you from running people over? What does that matter? And this goes back to my earlier statement that he's just kicking and screaming on the way to jail. He has nothing. He's just wasting time. The more days and weeks he has, maybe the better his cell is. Maybe the better the food he is. Maybe the better his food is that he gets from the county area instead of prison. Maybe he knows that. He's wasting time for sure. There's no point to any of this.
Next question, please.
And the child in common that you have with the alleged defendant, does that child live with you?
No.
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained, not relevant. You don't have to answer that.
she's like, thank you. I know he's a fucking asshole, isn't he? Oh, the judge knows too. Yeah, no, she knows. He's been a dick to her this entire trial. She knows more than anybody.
Do any of your children live with you?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
I love the facial expression, like he's really doing
Grounds
the
for
most.
sustain?
Not relevant.
That goes to the credibility, Your Honor, so how is it not relevant?
The objection has been sustained.
For relevancy.
His smile is nasty, bro. Like, the more he smiles, the more disgusting of a man he is. I honestly judge her for fucking with him. Like, what's her story? Like, Jesus, you find this guy attractive? He's a loser by every meaning of the sense.
I object to that and would like to inform you that I intend to appeal that decision unless you want to give a legal reconsideration of that ruling.
Noted for the record, I direct your attention to 906.16, and the basis for the objection being sustained is it does not fall within the categories listed. Next question.
Is that lawful law?
Is that lawful law?
Next question.
Is that lawful law? Get this man out the fucking courtroom. Kick him out of here. Send him to jail. He doesn't need to have a proceeding, pretty much.
Please, sir.
I'm getting there. This is lawful law.
Is it lawful
Wisconsin
law?
State Statute 906.16.
That doesn't answer my question, but okay. So my question would be, I don't know if you can see them from here, but do you recognize these pictures?
You need to show those to the state. The bailiff will take them. It's not proper procedure, sir.
He picked up the pictures and just showed them to her. Do you recognize these pictures? The way they're looking at him is like, is this man serious right now? Like, thank God they were small and she couldn't really see them, and the jury didn't see them, and anybody else in there. Like, come on, bro.
I'm going to object to those being shown to the witness. They have no relevance whatsoever to this trial.
Yes, they do. And
Sustained.
I'll get into how they have relevance.
They've also never been disclosed to the state before this moment.
Sustained.
Sustain why?
Not relevant.
They are relevant. It creates foundation. And I can prove that.
I'll take up the issue outside the presence of the jury at the conclusion of this witness, and if need be, bring the witness back in. But next question, please.
And these need to be off.
He just showed her 2 babies. And the string of questions before this was like, how often do you see your kids? Do you have children outside of the child that you have with me? Do you see them often? Each one of those got objected to, right? Each one of those got sustained. So what does he do? He pulls up the pictures and just blasts them in court. He just, here, do you recognize these people? The state was like, whoa, hold on. Like, yeah, no. Mr. Brooks is, he's making himself look worse in front of the jury. Whatever he's trying to do, even if someone had stomped a brick in between the gas pedal of his car and he had no choice but to drive through those people, and he somehow could prove that, the jury still would find him guilty. He's making himself look like a jackass, an asshole, and non-credible because he keeps putting up these questions for no reason. They make no difference. So why are you asking? Why are you trying to make her look bad when this is about you?
Offered into evidence as well. You stated that there's been no contact. How would the alleged defendant obtain photographs from you if there's been no contact?
Objection.
Grounds.
Assumes the fact, not in evidence.
Grounds.
Sustained. Assumes facts not in evidence.
Every time someone objects, he just says grounds. And then when they give him grounds, but why? And then when they say just shut the fuck up, we're moving on, he just shuts up and moves on. Because he doesn't know what he's doing, man. If he had gotten a lawyer, he would have had some sort of a basis, some sort of a structure to move forward. Right now, he's just free falling. But anyway, let me stop talking.
Not relevant.
How's that not relevant? Word for word. He's a broken record. I said exactly word for word, pitch of his words, everything. How is that not relevant? Crazy.
Those just don't pop up out of the blue.
Mr. Brooks assumes facts not in evidence,
No,
and at
facts.
this point,
I got the pictures
conduct
right here.
after
Facts.
the alleged date of violation here is not relevant.
Alleged violation.
You're
For the record.
correct. After the date charged, that the dates that are charged for these allegations, you are absolutely correct.
Thank you. Have you attempted to contact the alleged defendant?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
I'm going to excuse the jury.
Grounds. All right, guys. Jury, get up out of here, y'all. We're going to have to talk to our 12-year-old real quick. We're going to have to soothe him down a little bit, you know, give him a little shot of vodka, make him get a little drowsy. We'll bring y'all back. Like, this guy is out of control.
I'll rise for the jury.
Hold up real quick. I got to shout you guys out for getting me up to 2K, right? 2K subscribers. I love you guys. Get me up to 3K. Make sure you tell your grandma, your auntie, your niece, your nephew, your cousin. Tell everybody, hit that subscribe button. Love you guys. Let's get back to it.
Your Honor, I find it.
Hold on.
Oh, hold on.
All right, sir, I'm going to let you make an offer of proof as to why you believe the photographs and the questioning about contact after the alleged incident is relevant.
It's relevant.
Man, she is, I feel like, top-notch understanding. Like, that's not even a good word. Like, her tolerance for bullshit is on a super high level. Because I would have ended this whole thing. I would have kicked this man out so fast. And she keeps kicking him out, letting him in, kicking him out. He just wouldn't have been able to come into my court. He would have had to been over there We have him on mute the entire proceeding because this dude is crazy. And him disrespecting me like that constantly, hell no.
Relevant because these were sent by the witness.
It assumes a fact, not an evidence, but
You
what
want
is,
the letter
hold
too?
hold on. Tell me the basis you believe there's been communication and why you believe it's relevant to her testimony.
It's relevant because it was testified to her first time testifying, and then also by what's the last guy, Guth, that he was told that the witness was supposed to be so deeply afraid of me and all this type of stuff. So if you're so deeply afraid and worried about somebody and this and that, why would you sneak and have
Do you want
contact?
to open up the door to the other act's evidence of
That's
you
not
use-
open.
No.
So what he's trying to say is that ever since that moment, she was scared of him and didn't have contact with him. And he's saying, yes, she did. And she gave me these pictures. Like, I don't get it. Even if she's contacting you through the phone, like, what does that even matter? That still doesn't make her testimony invalid. You know what I mean?
That's not
Hear
opening
me
the
out.
door.
Hear me out. Oh, yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
These witnesses have been incredibly careful to abide by my rulings. Sometimes in a court of law, when there are pretrial rulings, the testimony of a witness needs to be said in such a way not to run afoul of that. This witness, Detective Guth, I believe Detective Casey and others, Corey Runkle, and even Nicholas Kirby yesterday, this court has all had to stop them so that they didn't run afoul, or they've stopped themselves so that they didn't run afoul of the court's pretrial ruling on other acts evidence between you and this witness. And I have been very, very careful to make sure that doesn't come in. But if you keep questioning her about whether she's afraid or not, or why she wouldn't
question
have
her about that.
contact or not,
I didn't
you are
question her about
opening
that.
the door to that testimony. All of
How-
my
how
rulings
does-
have
how
been
does-
made to prevent what
does
could be
pictures
seen
work?
as prejudicial
Mm-hmm.
evidence. The standard's not prejudicial. The standard's whether it's unfairly prejudicial.
It's
But
unfairly
you can
prejudicial.
open the door
Your
to
Honor,
that,
It's
sir.
unfairly prejudicial that I have a document stating that November 20th never even happened, but yet and still the witness
Then
can get
have
on
you
the
turned
stand
that
and lie on the
document
stand.
over to the state?
Come on, man. Y'all know that's not right.
Exactly. So he's saying basically he has evidence to show that he wasn't part of that incident that entire day. We know it's all bullshit, which is why he can't turn anything over.
Y'all know that's not right.
Then you need to immediately turn it over to the state right now. It may become relevant, but no one has seen it. When
So-
did you receive the
so that- so
document?
what-
So hold on. When did you? I'm having you make an offer. But when did you receive the
Okay,
document?
but that I just want to state for the record, Your Honor, that's kind of biased because the state did the same thing yesterday with creating an exhibit right on the fly that didn't even exist that I didn't have. But
That's
then,
not true. That's a
No,
misstatement of the
that is
evidence.
true.
No.
She said it herself.
No, marking an exhibit is not creating an
No,
exhibit.
not marking the exhibit. She said
We're
that
not going to go
essentially-
down a tangent, sir.
All right,
I'm going
I'm
to
not gonna
focus
argue
on
with
this,
you,
and I'm
but
going to
it's
give
not
you the
fair.
opportunity
It's
to
not
make
fair.
a record.
It's not
All right.
fair. It's not fair.
When did you receive this document that you claim was sent by this witness?
It's not claim. It's for a fact.
Sir,
Okay.
it hasn't been established yet. I need to make a
So
record.
do y'all want
I
the
want
letter?
to see
Y'all
the
want the
letter.
envelope? What?
I want to see the letter.
Okay, so I gotta.
And I wanna
so now
know
I gotta
when you
bring that
received
in.
it.
I gotta bring that in. Every time, this is what I don't get. Every time I'm presenting something that needs to be made for the record and placed in the evidence, it's a problem. But the state can do it, no problem.
It's not, sir. There are proper procedures.
She is literally begging you to produce the letter. She is asking you so kindly, please show me the letter that proves your innocence. We can end this today. Man, the guy is crazy. Anyways, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is the first look at Darrell Brooks in the court. As you could tell, completely tripping over himself, doesn't know what to do. like keeps looking down for like 2 minutes at a time. Like I literally had to skip through certain things to get to what he's even asking. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to see more Darrell Brooks, let me know. I appreciate you guys. I love y'all. Stay inside. I'll see you in the next one.